we can rebuild him. So, eyes,
Yep.
forward press.
Yep. Grip down a little.
Grip down.
There.
Forward.
There you go.
All right, if you've been following along in our instructional little segment we've been doing, we did a playing lesson, we did some fittings, we did some high-tech swing lessons, all with our guy Kevin Sprecher, who we're back with today. We're at Sleepy Hollow Country Club, and we've got some big things on the horizon. We've got some big events we're gonna be playing in, so we gotta get our putting in shape. So let's work on some putting today. Here we go.
We're back.
Hey guys. Great to have you back.
Thank you.
Nice to see you guys. Welcome back again.
Yes.
Always good to be here.
Always good. This is always fun. We always walk out of here knowing something
Always.
we did not know previously. So speaking of which, I know it's way too cold to get out there. Take us through what you would normally do. I know we're jumping the gun because, like I said, we want to get ready for spring. We're gonna do a little bit of putting in here. But what would you normally do if you went through a lesson, if someone comes to you for a putting lesson?
So the first thing we would do is we'd go outside and I'd watch you hit some putts. I just want to see what is actually happening versus what you're actually telling me. Sometimes it's different, sometimes it's the same.
Right.
But it gives me an opportunity to see how you react on the green, how you read a putt, how your stroke is, how you react to different length putts. Then we'll do something that I learned from actually Carl Welty through Jim McLean is a read and putt. So we'll hit about 6 or 7 putts at different lengths. I'll put the ball down, you'll read it, and then you'll put a tee down where you're going to aim. And then I film you from the target line. The 1C, are you reading it correctly? 2, are you starting it on your line? And then actually 3, can you hit the right speed? Because putting's all about speed,
Right.
direction, and then the combination of the two. So I actually get to see what you're doing. Then once we go outside, get all the video, we come in, and then we'll kind of come into the lab, and we'll put you on the Sam PuttLab. We'll take a look at the video, and we'll kind of get a feel for what actually is going on, kind of an MRI version of it with Sam PuttLab. It gives me lots of different data that I can't see visually or even with a camera.
That information
So we'll do
is going to be awesome. I'll tell you
It's-
that right now.
It's invaluable. I actually brag that everybody that's ever been on the Sam PuttLab has improved their putting. 100%.
There you go.
So.
It's right there. And we got some new putters. We got some new toys. So these
Right.
are completely different feels. This actually feels a lot lighter. I don't know if it's fit correctly for me. I mean, whatever.
Right.
Maybe you could find that out across the way.
Yep.
But I'm just here. We're here because I got to get my putting in order. It is not good. I'm pulling a lot. You'll see
Okay.
that. I'm sure it'll tell you that.
Yep.
And hopefully we can fix it.
Well, one more thing I want to speak to. So that's the inner workings of how the lesson works. But let's speak to the motivation for a second, because I feel like a lot of guys who are our level, mid-handicappers, things like that, we think of when we go to see a coach, we're going for a swing lesson, right? So what would be the reason, other than the obvious of saying, I'm going to improve my putting, what would be the motivation, and where should someone, kind of start if they want to go for a putting lesson? Why would they do that?
Well, if you want to improve your scores quickly, then you take a short game or a putting lesson. If you want to improve your ball striking and maybe improve your scores, like we were talking about before, full swing, you might hit it a little less to the right, a little less to the left, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to score less. It might eliminate penalty strokes. But with putting, I can probably take off 3 to 7 shots a round. But with putting, I can probably take off 3 to 7 shots a round for a player. How many times do you have 30 putts in a round of golf?
Not many.
Maybe never.
Yeah.
Right? Unless you're chipping
Yeah,
really well.
probably never. Right.
Yeah.
So if we can take 3 shots off your score in an hour.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
That's a game changer. That's breaking 100, maybe even breaking 90 for some guys.
Yeah. Big time.
So, yeah.
I like those numbers. What do you say we get after it? You ready?
I want to do it. I'm excited now. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yep.
Now, do you always double check the loft, even if it's...
I always put it on my system, just so I know. Because loft is important, because too much loft, the ball gets launched. Not enough loft, the ball can get pushed into the ground. So the types of greens that you play on are important. If you play on greens that are like tour greens, you don't need a lot of loft because the grass is really tight to the ground. It's closely mown. If you play on public courses where the grass isn't as good, you want a little bit more loft because you need the ball to get the ball up. You need the ball to get out of the depression that it sits in. So if the ball's on the green, the ball has weight, so it sits in a little pocket. So you need the loft of the club to get it up out of that pocket so it can start to roll. Well, if there's not enough loft, it actually gets pushed into the pocket and it starts to bounce. You lose speed. Or if you have too much loft, it gets launched up into the air, starts to bounce, and you lose speed. And speed, so if you struggle with speed, that could be one thing, is you might have too much loft or not enough loft flat.
What do you think we're running, about 15 here?
It's about 12 and a half. It's been stick, by the way.
You ready to see what that stroke looks like?
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good. It's a lighter putter than the old one, so the definite feel is completely different.
You think anything in the stroke itself is going to surprise you once we get on that thing?
Oh, big time. Yeah, I hope it does. I'm looking forward to it because, like I said before, the pull is my biggest problem.
Yeah.
I look at these numbers right here because they're live numbers. So his lie angle and how much lean he has in the shaft, which is important. Because remember, his static lie angle was 70, but he's holding it at 66. So that makes the toe look up. Okay? So changes the way things look, changes the way things aim. Because when the toe's up, which way does the face tend to aim? Left, right? So then you try to fix it. If I do this, even though it's a putter, if this is straight, right, and I start doing this, that's going to start going left.
Yeah.
Well, you see that from a player's perspective. If you're looking down, so then what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to open up the face a little bit. Well, now things aren't matching up.
Right.
And then that affects your path. So those are some things that we're going to look at a little bit more closely here.
Okay.
So the shaded out areas where the tour players tend to be 75% above, and actually it's probably more like 80%. What I tell people is, if you're at 75 and above, you're a good putter. Most amateur golfers are somewhere in the 50 to 60 range, kind of where we see here, 50 to 60. Each one of these categories looks at these metrics over here. So your tendency is, the way you aim and the path and all that stuff tends to be on the better side. Your timing and how consistent you are is very low.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at that.
Okay.
But that's just a general grade, so to speak. Yeah, not very consistent.
Any surprises in there for you? You feel like that surprised you, or do you feel like you're inconsistent generally?
I do feel like I'm inconsistent.
You can see it here. He hit a bunch of putts left, hit a bunch of putts right. His speed was okay, but his directional was off. Knowing what we've already seen so far, we know his toe's way up because his putter's, he's holding it flat, and we see his direction's off. So if we did nothing else, if we flattened out his putter, he might get better just in that little quick segment there. Lie angle has a lot to do with putter length, 34 inches. It's interesting that I'm 6'2" and I use a 34-inch putter, and you're not 6'2" and you're using a 34-inch putter. So there's something there, unless you've got really short arms or I've got really long arms. So that has something to do with the putter fitting. So this is the process that I start. I'm just letting you kind of inside my head. This is what I start going through. Is it a fitting problem or is it a stroke problem? And where are we going to go with this? So we're going to kind of dig in a little bit deeper here and see what we can find out.
Okay.
This is putt 1 through 7.
Okay.
Okay. This is, so you can see you're starting it in the middle. One thing to understand, we're hitting a 10-foot putt. At 10 feet, 1 degree open or closed equals 2 inches. So if you're 1 degree off, if you're aiming for the middle of the cup and you're 1 degree off, you're at one of the edges. That make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So here you can see more than 2 degrees. All right. So now that's 4 inches left.
Yep.
This is 1 degree left. So that's 2 inches left. This is almost 3. So you can see how far left you're going here with everything. So
Wow.
at least you're consistently left.
Yep.
And you said before, you knew you were pulling it.
Yep.
Except for the last one, you're like, well, I've hit 6 of them to the left. I'm not going to hit this one left. So I'm going to aim a little bit right. So it throws you, so your consistency score is off just because of the dispersion between left and right.
Interesting.
But I'm not surprised by this number knowing that your lie angle is off. Mm-hmm. That's so far it's not your fault.
Okay.
Okay?
Good to hear.
He likes that.
I like to hear that.
37% of your stroke is back, 63% of your stroke is forward. That's actually pretty close to being good. It's usually like a 60-40, 40 back, 60 through.
Okay.
Some are a little bit more 50-50. I don't like to see 25-75. That tends to get a little jabby.
Okay.
But you do want that number to be less because a lot of people talk about shortening your backswing on the putting stroke. Is that right or no?
He's actually pretty good at .37.
No, I mean like you want it to be less than 50%.
You want it less than 50.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't typically see a 60 back and a 40 through.
Gotcha.
You typically see a little bit, because then those players tend to decel.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like you're full, so you take it back too far to hit a shot, you decel, things break down. But you can definitely see a propensity to go out and then in. Kind of, there's a little bit of loop.
So it shouldn't just look straight on.
No, it should not be straight.
Okay. So
The stroke is definitely an arc, depending upon the length of the putt. It's a bigger arc or a smaller arc, but it's an arc. And I don't care what kind of putter you use, a face balanced or a toe hanging putter. That has more to do with how you like to release it versus the path.
got it.
Just because you have a toe hanging putter doesn't mean you're going to have a big swinging arc.
Yeah, sure.
That's not exactly right.
Okay.
But that was the myth before. If the toe of your putter hangs down, you should have an arc stroke. If you have a face balanced putter, you should have a straight stroke. I don't agree with that. I think all strokes, it's just a question of how you release the putter more.
Right.
That's what the face balance stuff is for.
Okay.
So let's clean it up.
Okay.
At least the guy's got rhythm.
Yeah.
I got some consistent rhythm. That's for sure.
Definitely probably pretty good on the dance floor.
Yeah. Dance floor, musical instruments.
Yeah.
I got that. Yeah.
The things that we need to fix are the first couple of categories we looked at. Your address position and your face angle, because that's what's throwing off your direction. You're not a bad putter, you're just not good enough. So I think if we change the putter a little bit so it looks different, right?
I like to hear it though. Not a bad putter.
Yeah. If you look at some of the other data, face aim is dead on. Just by shortening your follow through, your timing on your follow through got better. Now it's just you getting used to it. So what we would do now is we'd go outside, hit some putts, get used to it, and then have you come back in a week or so and let's see what changed. But now you kind of know what to do.
You ready, dude?
Yeah.
Your
Well,
turn.
I think everyone might notice the first thing.
Which one?
We got two putters right now. So if you guys remember our club fitting back at Club Champion last year, I got fit for this Bettinardi, love it. Recently I've been experimenting with this Scotty, which is a little bit heavier. This is actually quite light. And I feel like that might be helping me take a little bit of a loop out of my putting stroke. So I'm experimenting with both. I don't know which one's gonna end up in the bag, but we're gonna have a little fun testing with this one with Kevin.
So you consistently get it wrong.
Right. but the
But you're
takeaway was
consistent.
saying if it's consistent, don't necessarily change it.
Right. And that's the thing about face roll impact. You were talking about you kept hitting it off center.
Yeah.
That's fine. As long as you do it the same way, then it's easy to adjust speed.
Right.
Or tell speed. If you're all over the face, then it's hard to know if you're going to hit it long or short. So you don't have to hit it in the center every time. You just want to hit it in the same place every time.
Gotcha.
So saying 33.5, 70 lie. So we can do a quick comparison to see if there is a difference. You can hit 7 putts with one, 7 putts with the other, and see them side by side.
All right, perfect. Visually, I feel like it looks like I'm punching it or stopping my stroke. So I've been working like constantly at home on the putt out mat. I'm just smoothing out my stroke. I had more confidence last season since working with a better fit putter, but I feel like it's a moving target. Like my putting, I've been trying new things. I've been trying to stay more still with the bottom half, but I don't have a whole lot of confidence in my stroke. I feel like no matter what I do, I can't seem to get it exactly consistent.
Over one degree, we're gonna have problems. 3 degrees is, not good.
Right.
All right. So
Not terrible.
sometimes I just get my students on there and we learn how to line the ball up and then line the face up to the ball. And that might be an hour session, just practicing doing that. Or we'll do it with a laser. Line the ball up, does it look good? Okay, then we'll put the laser on and see if it actually lines up. I've heard stories in the past of like Annika going for a putting lesson and they spent 4 hours. Read, line the ball up, set in, take a look, do it. 4 hours without hitting a putt. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I've heard. Sorry, this is the face balance putter, the lighter one.
Yep.
And this is the one that felt better, a little heavier, but it's not face balanced.
Right. This is about a 30-degree toe hang.
So yeah, so you can see your tendency is about the same, your timing improved, your consistency is way up, so your overall is way better. So look at the aim difference, okay?
So we're right here, we're seeing exactly the difference that an equipment tweak can make.
This is the difference between two pieces of equipment that are slightly different.
Slightly different.
One's face balanced, one's not, one's a little heavier and one's not.
Right. This is just telling me one more benefit of just going through the process of fitting and trying different things, because everything else is the same. It's 7 strokes,
Yeah.
and you're seeing the difference in actually 2 putters that are fairly similar. Length, we talked about loft is about the same.
Yeah, loft's a half a degree. So they're virtually the same specs, except for the toe hang and the weight.
And the weighting. And we're seeing wildly different results.
The hosels are slightly different too, but
as putters go, in the scheme of putters, they're fairly similar.
Right.
That just shows you what a little difference can make.
your launch conditions are the same. You add loft to both.
So I'm not de-lofting, I'm adding loft.
You're hitting up and adding loft. So you hit a lot of putts kind of off center.
This guy lofts.
I hit everything up. I hit everything in the bag
He
up.
lofts.
So what we're gonna try to do is lighten up the Scotty by changing out the weights. But we think that the weighting on that was causing a lot of the inconsistency. So that's the nice part about being able to adjust it.
Let's see.
Scotty Light.
Scotty Light performed better than Scotty Heavy. All right, so running them against each other, what we found was dramatic improvement in that 10-gram weight change with the Scotty, but the Bettinardi's still performing better for me. Can't tell 100% if it's because of the fact that that's face balance versus a little bit of toe hang that we're getting out of the Scotty. That was kind of inconclusive. They're close though. We got that Scotty a lot closer, but right now it's still looking like the Bettinardi. So we're going to continue with going through the strokes with that, and then I'll readdress and continue to test with the Scotty and possibly something a little bit different there, making some other changes down the road. But for right now, we'll proceed forward with the Bettinardi.
One is it's de-lofting the club, but that's not the primary is the lock in your left wrist a little bit more.
Okay.
Just to give you a feel of some solidity. Everything to me sounds like it's fluid. You don't feel everything's moving around. You don't feel any solidness in your stroke. So the forward press tends to lock in your wrists a little bit more.
Okay.
Okay. So I put the T here so you can kind of feel.
It's that feedback to let me know it's the press.
Feel that it's where it's supposed to be.
Got it.
It shouldn't come off of there. Yeah.
I feel a lot less variation in my back. It doesn't feel like my backswing's all over the place.
Put this underneath your arms. That's it, bend a little. Okay, take your setup. So now, the idea is if there were pencils on the end of this, you want to draw straight lines up and down. Right, feel that? Don't move these. There. Feel that?
Yes, I do. So as opposed to what I was doing, which was this.
Yeah. A little tin cupish there, but
We can rebuild him.
Pinch that together now.
Okay.
Good. That little device changed my putt. There you go. That was good. There you go. Yeah. That looks so much more solid.
Yeah.
Look at this. So you went from almost not hitting up to adding a degree of loft to now hitting up 2 and de-lofting 2 degrees. So you went from neutral to backspin. Actually, you had backspin to now you're putting topspin on it.
Which is what we want. Right.
Which is going to change the way that it's going to definitely change your speed control.
All right, putter lesson complete. Frank, take us through it.
Amazing how much we've learned in just about an hour. It takes usually about an hour is what you would put in for a putting lesson. We've done about an hour for each of us. And in that time, not only have we focused on equipment and we've taken some different questions that we had out from that standpoint, but also just these couple of changes, I'm feeling a lot better. So Kevin, take us through a little bit what we did.
So we started out, you came in with 2 putters, like I don't know which one.
Right.
You know, this one feels better, it's heavier, but this one's the one I've been putting with.
Yeah.
So we measured them both.
Right.
We saw a clear difference with the lighter putter being, better on the numbers on here.
Yep.
With everything except for some of the face rotation stuff. So we took the heavier putter and took 10 grams of weight out, and it did get a little better. I would say it's not as good as the original one, but maybe it's just because you're not used to it. It is a slightly different grip and it is a slightly different hosel.
Right.
And look, so that could be it. But we definitely know lighter is a little bit better.
Yep.
We also figured out that your putter's too long.
Right.
Because your arms are getting too bent in there, and that started to let the putter waver around too much. So the main thing with you was what we did is we changed your setup, bowed your knees out to stabilize your legs, gave you the feeling of a little forward press to kind of lock your wrists in, arms kind of tight together, and then kind of locked you down, so to speak.
Yeah.
Which gave you an immediate, you can see your eyes kind of lit up. You're like, oh, now I got it. I can putt.
I feel it and I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we did that. We saw an immediate change on the Sam PuttLab. We saw a difference in how you roll it, but more importantly, we saw a difference in you. You feel more confident.
Yeah.
Regardless of the numbers, if you feel more confident, you're going to putt better.
No doubt about it. I'm feeling confident in both the equipment and the stroke.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's important. Knowing that your equipment is good is super important. It takes one aspect out that we can control. Right. There are some things you can't control. You can't control the weather. You can't control the way the course is set up. But we can control how our equipment is and make sure it's right.
Right. So you don't want to be second guessing out there. You don't want
Let's take it out. Let's make it. That's something that's easy.
Yes.
That's an easy.
And how about for Mike? What did we do there?
For me, it was a simple just position stance change, correct?
Yeah. Got you a little closer to the ball, right? So, which got your eyes not necessarily over the ball, but less inside.
Right.
So that changed the lie angle of the putter, right? It made it actually from 4 degrees flat to about the right lie angle. And then our direction started to get a little bit better with it.
Right.
Right. So that was just a simple, quick, setup change. I want you to putt with it some more. We may need to adjust your lie angle because you went from toe down to toe up.
Right.
Because of you compensated before from having your hands so low. You compensated rising up. So now they're
was
up
a natural
there.
change.
So they're still going up a little bit. So it's something to keep an eye on, but it should be easy.
Yeah.
We also change your grip pressure. So you're getting too light, and I find a lot of players hold the putter hold it too delicately, but it's hard to move a weighted object if you're holding it too lightly.
Sure.
So I like players to hold the putter like they're swinging a 7-iron. Make it feel like every other club in your bag and move it.
Okay.
And that was good. Nice changes.
No doubt. So tons of info there. So if someone's thinking about doing a putting lesson, they want to work with you, how do they work with you?
Best way is to go to my website. You can send me an inquiry, or you can book a lesson right on through my website, which is kevinsprecher.com. Or you can reach me out through social on Instagram at Kevin Sprecher Golf or on Twitter at Kevin Sprecher. Those would be the best ways to get a hold of me. Or just call Sleepy Hollow Country Club.
Easy enough.
Been
Ready
here-
to put the lights out this season?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Nice work, guys.
Thank you, Kevin.